everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor ThorgE, your guide to all things geeky, and we are now entering the final days of our week-long ThorgE3 coverage. Even after a week, that name is still dumb, but too late to change it. Anyway, what would a week of me talking about video games be if I didn't just stop everything to talk about Persona 5? For anybody who is new to this channel, let me tell you something about myself. I love the Persona video game series. It is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. Persona 4 is right up there. It might be my favorite video game I have ever played. So I have been hyping up Persona 5 ever since it was first teased. And yeah, I'll admit, after the last bit of news that we got, that will not be coming out in the States until 2017, 2 years after it was initially announced it would be coming out. I got a little bit salty. But I understand, you gotta take the time, you gotta make sure it's all done right. I get it. But even if I'm gonna have to wait to play that game, I'm not gonna have to wait to get more news about that game. Because Persona 5 was at E3 this year. And when I heard they were gonna be at E3, I was like, they're gonna have like a small, tiny booth, like way over in the corner. No one's gonna be able to find it. No, this was big. Atlus really brought everything they had to E3 this year. That shows me that Atlus fully realizes how big a thing Persona is here in the States and how big of a fan base it has over here. Not big enough to push that release date up, but no, get it right, take your time. Have to be an adult about this. And of course, anytime that there is new Persona news, you guys ask me to talk about, and I am happy to do that, and there was indeed a lot to talk about from this year's E3, so let's run through it real quick. The first thing that's worth talking about is that we got a gameplay demo, and it was a long gameplay demo. We got to see a lot of stuff from this game, but that demo was introduced by Morgana, which is the little cat character from the game, except it wasn't just introduced by her, it was introduced by the American voiceover actor playing Morgana. Yes, this was our first time to actually hear the English dub of some of these characters from this game.
Oh wait, we sent out the calling card in Japan, so some of you might not know me. I am Morgana, the backbone of the Phantom Thieves.
Now this actually got me really excited because personally I really like the English voiceover acting in the Persona games. I actually think they're kind of fun and charming. However, the newest Atlus game that's coming out here in the States is Tokyo Sessions Mirage FE, which still to this day is a very confusing name. However, they made news when they said that that game would not have English voiceover acting. It was going to all remain in Japanese. And their justification for that was that, this game is very closely tied to Japan. So we wanted to make it really feel that way, so we kept the Japanese voiceover acting in there. And my first thought was, all the Persona games are really closely tied to Japan too. Are you going to skip that in Persona 5? So this confirmed, no, they will not be skipping that. There will indeed be English voiceover acting. Next up, we got to see a live gameplay demo, and the first thing that I noticed in this gameplay demo is that the animation in this game is smooth. I'm not just talking about the cutscenes. I'm just talking about the way that you run around this town. They actually made this town very crowded and very huge, and yet I didn't really get a sense of any slowdown. Like, you could actually run through crowds, and it didn't feel kind of choppy, it didn't feel like it was being bugged down. It actually looks like they're fully taking advantage of the fact that you can put a ton of stuff in your game on a PlayStation 4. And that also goes for the battle animation. The way that you were able to just summon out personas and didn't even feel like it had to stop and go into a small cutscene for it to happen. It felt like it was all happening very fluidly in the combat system. In fact, the way that you even start combat with an opponent felt incredibly smooth. Like, you can go up to them and you can perform sneak attacks so that you get an early attack on them. That is something from all the Persona games. However, I like that they're actually playing into the fact that you are a thief and you are actually going to have to sneak around when you perform these attacks. So you're going to have to actually hide, wait for the right opportunity, then go up and do a takedown attack on them. However, the moment that you do that, it then just goes straight into battle. Like, the set just expands so it looks like you're attacking them exactly where you were in that maze, which is an awesome thing. I love when games do that. But then the enemies just pop up and you're ready to go. Instant action. There is no slow zoom in on them, no fade to black. It is instantly you are fighting these guys. That is some of the smoothest transitions I've seen in a JRPG. Also, this was a suspicion that I had from the previous trailers, but it has now been confirmed. In order to get your new personas, the way that you will obtain them is the same way that you obtain them in the early games. It's not just beating them and then some magic cards pop up and you gotta grab those cards. No, you're actually going to have to stop the battle and have a conversation with your opponent and then convince them to join you. Now, I'll admit, I personally kind of like the card game that they had a little bit more, just simply because I was kind of good at it, and also because I think they did some really clever stuff with that. But in all honesty, I've never really experimented that much with the whole convincing system, so this will be a brand new experience for me. So I really look forward to seeing how it is. I mean, maybe I'll enjoy it even more than the card system. And as you're going through the level, it became kind of clear to me that there's going to actually be a puzzle-solving element to this. It's not just going to be you find the stairs and then go up the stairs, or you find a locked door leading to the stairs and then you have to open that locked door. It's like, no, there's actually going to be some big stuff that you're going to have to do. You're actually going to have to figure out your way around these levels. Sometimes that means figuring out how to open a gate. Sometimes it means figuring out how to just climb up the level. We see them actually jumping onto a roof at one point. So it's kind of awesome that every single level is not just going to be one flat, straight path, just like they were in the previous games. I mean, I absolutely love the Persona games, but one thing that I always did kind of critique about them was that the level designs of the dungeons were pretty simple. It does not look like that will be the case in this one. Also, one other thing that I noticed in the dungeons, you actually see the boss of the dungeon, who is the human being whose heart you've had to go inside of. That was confirmed in the last bit of news, is that all these dungeons will be inside these people. You're actually going into their soul and trying to snatch away the evil inside of them to change their hearts. So you see the human whose body you are jumping into in the top corner, and we saw like a little bar there, and it said 0% most of the time, but then every now and again we saw it go up a little bit, and I think, this is total theory, this is totally me just taking a wild guess at this, but I guess that because sneaking around and being a thief is the main theme of this game, I would say that you have to sneak into their bodies without them actually realizing that you're there. And I'd say that that bar is how suspicious they might be of you. Like, if you get caught every now and again by a villain, it might go up some. If you fail to get past one of their traps, it might go up some. That's, again, that is total just speculation. Now, the last two pieces of news were actual big reveals. We got to meet your final party member. In that last trailer, we got to meet every single party member except for one. In fact, even when they teased the DLC, they hid his face to make sure that you could not see him. So everybody's wondering, who the heck is this final party member? They finally came out and said who it is. His name is Goro Okichi, and he was going to be a high school detective. Yeah, my very first thought when I heard that was, so like, Naoto? Because yeah, it was a little bit weird that that is a very specific thing. A high school detective who is a bit of a celebrity. We even see him being interviewed on a TV show. So like, oh man, that's kind of the same thing. But then I actually stopped and thought about it and realized, no, this actually is a different thing, and it's actually kind of cool to have in this game. First off, design-wise, totally different characters. Completely different characters. Even in the way that we see him talking, it's like, alright, it's not even close to what Naoto was. And the reason that makes it so cool for this one is that in the previous game, you were trying to solve a case, so you and Naoto were on the same side. In this one, you are breaking the law. You are a criminal. You are a thief, and you are constantly having run-ins with the law. So the fact that a detective, who should be against you, and should be trying to catch you, is actually going to end up becoming a party member, actually has me really excited for the story, and specifically his story, and what's going to happen to him. What is your relationship with him? Is this something that's going to go back and forth constantly throughout the game? In fact, I'd probably say that the reason why they hid his face in all those DLC posters is because they figured, okay, people are going to start playing this game, he's going to start off as a villain, someone who you are going against, and we don't want to spoil it for anybody that eventually you guys become allies. Which makes it odd that they just went ahead and went, screw it, just spoil it. I think that's just simply because they realized that that would end up getting spoiled for everybody in the rest of the world after this came out in Japan 5 months before it came out in the rest of the world. They're like, hey, you know, if it's going to be spoiled for them, let's just spoil it for everybody. And the last piece of news, the one that has me the most excited, is the thing that I have been asking about since the very first trailer came out. Ever since that very first trailer came out, I looked at that menu and went, where's social links? Because I love so many things about the Persona games, but the thing that I enjoyed the most was the social link system. I thought that was an amazing mechanic in which you basically got to know other people around you. And as you got to know them, they ended up influencing you in battle. They would actually power up certain types of personas that you could use, but in order for that to happen, you had to get to know their stories, and I actually really enjoyed getting to know their stories. As I've said before, in the fourth game, I actually cared way more about whether or not the girl from the drama club would end up reconnecting with her dying father than I did about catching this mysterious killer. So throughout all these trailers, I've been going, so where are the social links? What's the deal with social links? What's happening with the social links? And everybody's been telling me down in the comments, hey man, it's cool, just be cool. They came out and they said that they are going to have something in here that's like social links. I'm like, okay, that's great, that's great. What do you mean like social links, okay? Not social links, but something similar to it? Give me some information on that. They finally gave us information about it. They finally told us what it's going to be. It's now going to be called the cooperation system. And it's going to be something where, just like with social links, you're going to have to get to know people around you, you're going to have to work with them, and all these people are connected to arcanas. The same arcanas, they're also connected to personas, so it probably will end up influencing your personas. But they said that the difference, and this is incredibly vague, so who knows what it means, but they said that it is going to be a mutually beneficial system. And that makes me think that it's not just going to be a system in which you just stand there while they tell you their story, but you're actually going to have to interact with them more. You're going to have to participate with their lives some more. You might actually have to do some actual things for them, you know, give them money, give them prizes, go and work at their shop for a little bit. Basically something in which you have to do more to earn their trust, but mutually beneficial makes it sound like they will also do things for you rather than just boosting your persona in this imaginary world when you're fighting demons. For example, we see that one of the cooperation characters will be the guy who sells you weapons. So it makes me think that if you end up talking to him, getting to know him, getting to do some errands for him, then not only will it end up boosting up your persona's power, but also he might give you a discount at his store. Or one of the other characters is the nurse at your school. And maybe you talk to her, get to know her, she will end up boosting your persona's power, but also she might give you some healing items every now and again. Again, total speculations. However, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that me making total speculations about the upcoming Persona 5 game is kind of the first thing that this channel got known for. So why stop doing it now? But I hope that you guys enjoy this. Let me know in the comments down below how you felt about all this gameplay footage and all these announcements that they made. And if you want to see more Persona videos from me or more E3 videos, I'm going to put the playlist for both of those at the end of this trailer. And if you want to see more stuff from me from the world of video games, comic books, movies, anything from the world of geekery, then make sure that you hit that subscribe button at the end of this. Thank you guys very much. Come back next time.